I got some scary letters in the very beginning. I did have to move at one point.
7 years after stepping away from the spotlight of the hit reality show Storage Wars, Brandi Passante, once seen as a symbol of strength and individuality, has made a shocking return. She revealed that for years, she had been hiding many secrets and living under an image shaped by others' expectations. Standing before an old poster, Brandy firmly covered Jarrod Schulz's image, as if putting an end to the past. Behind the show's glamour lay a relationship filled with deception, manipulation, and secrets that had never been revealed. Flashback: the violet-eyed girl finding her way to the light. Brandi Passante was born on May 4, 1980, in Harris County, Texas. Growing up with several brothers, her childhood was marked by constant competition for attention, rough play, and frequent injuries. She often felt like an outsider within her own family. Over time, that sense of being different turned into the belief that she didn't belong to an ordinary life. This mindset became clearer when she was 10. After being teased to the point of tears, she retreated alone and made a promise to herself to become stronger and never allow herself to be hurt the same way again. That moment became a turning point, shaping the resilience she carried throughout her life. Whenever she faced challenges, the memory of that determined young girl pushed her to keep moving forward. In 1999, at the age of 19, Brandy worked for a carpet cleaning company, where she met her boss, Jarrod Schulz. He wasn't attractive in the conventional sense, but his bluntness, humor, and persistence gave him a unique appeal. During a time when she felt lost and directionless, Brandy found comfort in his presence. Being around him eased her loneliness and led her to believe she had found someone she could stay with long-term. However, she had no idea that this relationship would later bring both great success and deep pain. Building a family and a dream, a sweet happiness. Before the storm, Brandi Passante and Jarrod Schulz began building a life together, becoming partners in both business and love. Their small family soon grew with the arrival of 2 children, a daughter, Peyton, and a son, Cameron. However, Brandy's journey into motherhood was quickly met with major challenges. Peyton was born with hearing loss and a mild cleft palate. At just 6 weeks old, she had to undergo an important surgery. Holding her tiny daughter after the procedure, Brandy was overwhelmed with fear for her future, but also realized she had to become strong enough to protect and support her. From that moment on, a deeper sense of resilience began to take shape within her. Before she could fully recover from that first ordeal, another crisis struck. Cameron was diagnosed with a tumor on his kidney and had to remain hospitalized for 3 months. Every day, Brandy stayed by his side, doing her best to remain cheerful so he wouldn't be afraid. Behind that calm exterior, however, she carried intense pressure and fear on her own. Only when she was alone did she allow herself to face the possibility of losing her son. These experiences gradually taught her how to hide her own pain. In 2008, the global financial crisis hit the United States hard, and the Schulz family was no exception. Jarrod lost his job, and their main source of income disappeared almost overnight. Facing financial hardship, the couple decided to take a risk by buying abandoned storage units and reselling the contents for profit. The business quickly took off, but it also brought unexpected consequences. Their home slowly turned into a massive storage space, with items piling up everywhere from inside the house to the yard. The situation became so severe that they were warned by local authorities. Despite the growing pressure, Brandy tried to stay optimistic, seeing it as just another challenge to overcome. To her, as long as her family stayed together, they still had a reason to keep going. Fame and the dark side of the spotlight. A life-changing opportunity came to them in the most unexpected way. A television producer happened to come across footage filmed at their secondhand store, now and then, and was immediately drawn to the couple's natural, humorous dynamic. That footage was later used to create a pilot episode for the reality show Storage Wars. In 2010, Storage Wars premiered on the A&E network and quickly became a phenomenon. The first episode attracted around 2 million viewers, and that number continued to rise in the years that followed. In a short time, Brandy and Jarrod went from unknown small business owners to familiar faces on television across the United States. The sudden fame left Brandy feeling both excited and uneasy. She realized she had found a new sense of purpose, but at the same time, she began to sense the cost that came with it. The pressure soon became overwhelming. Brandy had to juggle multiple roles at once, raising 2 children with special needs, managing the business, and keeping up with a demanding filming schedule. The constant workload drained her both physically and mentally. In her private journal, she expressed a growing sense of losing herself amid the demands of work and family. She loved what she had, yet no longer recognized who she was becoming, as her life seemed to slip beyond her control. The darker side of fame also began to emerge. As her public profile grew, she became a target for negative individuals. The family started receiving threatening letters, while her social media was flooded with hateful and abusive messages. The constant anxiety forced Brandy to move her family into a gated community with strict security for their safety. The prolonged pressure took a serious toll on her mental health, leading her to seek therapy to manage panic attacks and stress. Through it all, Brandy came to realize a harsh truth. Fame was not just an opportunity, but also a burden. The spotlight that others admired felt to her like a slow-burning flame consuming her over time. A battle with the demons of the internet. In 2012, fame suddenly turned into a serious crisis for Brandi Passante. A man named Hunter Moore, who ran a notorious website known for sharing explicit content, posted a pornographic video and falsely claimed that the woman in it was Brandi Passante. Although the claim was completely fabricated, the rumors spread rapidly across the internet. Brandy's life nearly collapsed overnight. Her social media accounts were flooded with insults, accusations, and abusive messages. She became the target of a widespread public shaming campaign. The psychological pressure pushed her into a state of panic, to the point where she could not face herself and wanted to withdraw from all attention. However, after the initial shock, her inner strength gradually resurfaced. Brandy refused to remain silent or allow her reputation to be destroyed by false accusations. She chose to fight back through legal action, filing a lawsuit against Hunter Moore and seeking damages for emotional distress and defamation. The legal battle was intense. Moore showed no remorse and even behaved disrespectfully during the proceedings. Nevertheless, the court ultimately ruled in Brandy's favor. Although the financial compensation was only symbolic, the most important outcome for her was the permanent restraining order, which helped her regain a sense of safety and control over her life. The experience left a deep scar, but it also led Brandy to an important realization. What she truly needed was not money, but the right to protect her dignity and live free from judgment. The battle not only helped her reclaim the truth, but also strengthened her resilience more than ever. Shattered from within. While Brandi Passante was dealing with the pressures of public life, a quiet but deep fracture was forming within her own home. Her relationship with Jarrod Schulz, once the foundation of their success, began to weaken under the weight of fame, stress, and unresolved issues. In 2014, in an effort to capitalize on their popularity, they took part in the spin-off show Brandy and Jarrod, Married to the Job. The series documented both their business and personal lives, including their wedding after 15 years together. However, instead of being a joyful milestone, the event exposed the growing cracks in their relationship. On screen, Jarrod often appeared distant, while their private conflicts became content for public viewing. Brandy gradually realized that not only the show, but their entire life had long been shaped like a performance. The series ended after just 1 season, but the damage to their marriage was irreversible. The years 2018 to 2019 marked the beginning of their quiet separation. Early signs appeared on social media, where Brandy was no longer seen alongside Jarrod. Her wedding ring also disappeared, and she began building a life on her own. Soon after, Jarrod publicly entered a new relationship. Their story did not end in a dramatic confrontation, but rather in a slow and irreversible distance. The period from 2020 to 2021 became the most difficult time in Brandy's life. She contracted COVID-19 and struggled with lingering symptoms, then faced the loss of her father. The turning point came with a physical altercation between her and Jarrod at a bar, which led to him being charged with domestic battery. This incident shattered any remaining hope for their relationship. After these events, Brandy had to face both emotional and psychological pain on her own while continuing to fulfill her role as a mother. The mounting pressure forced her to become stronger in order to protect her family. In October 2021, Brandy marked a new chapter in her life. She got a tattoo of a bird in flight with the word "free" on her finger, symbolizing her sense of liberation. That same month, she shared a message on social media about the strength of survivors, signaling that she was ready to move on from the past and tell her story. For Brandy, this was not just an ending, but the beginning of a freer life, healing and self-liberation. The journey of healing for Brandi Passante began with radical honesty, as she chose to confront her vulnerabilities head-on. In 2022, fans noticed that her voice had become noticeably raspy and deeper, sparking speculation online. Instead of avoiding the issue, Brandy openly shared that she had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, an autoimmune condition affecting the thyroid that can impact the voice. This openness marked a turning point in her mindset, as she was no longer afraid of judgment and began to fully accept herself. Her transparency quickly earned public support and opened new professional opportunities. Brandy became a co-host of the podcast Happening Now with Hammer, where she could express her thoughts freely and authentically. She found genuine joy in connecting with audiences on her own terms. In her personal life, she also entered a new relationship with Clifford Beaver, who brought stability and a sense of appreciation into her life. The images she shared online became more natural and unfiltered, reflecting a more balanced and positive state of mind. Looking back on her past challenges, Brandy came to understand that she had not been broken, but rather going through a period of change and recovery. No longer bound by her past or public image, she began to rebuild her life on her own terms. By 2025, Brandy had evolved from someone who overcame hardship into an independent content creator. She launched her own podcast, The Real Reality with Brandi Passante, where she shares honest perspectives on the reality television industry. At the same time, she returned to Storage Wars for its 16th season, this time in a completely different role, an independent figure who negotiates and controls her own career path. At this stage, Brandy's life is no longer driven by external pressure or expectations. After everything she has been through, she has found a sense of inner peace and balance. Her journey has become a source of inspiration for many, especially those facing trauma, illness, or the pressures of fame. Her story is not just about overcoming hardship, but about continuously redefining herself. This time, she is the one writing her own life story, guided by her true voice.